Is the American dream in peril? What are the key factors that have led to the current state of the American economy? Today, we stand at a crossroads, grappling with income inequality, stagnant wages, and declining living standards. These aren't mere abstract concepts, but stark realities that affect millions of individuals on a daily basis. In this video, we will explore the key phases that have shaped the US economy and delve into the factors contributing to its decline. The American economy has had its ups and downs. One of the high points was a phase that started late in Barack Obama's presidency and continued during Donald Trump's term. In the aftermath of the housing crash, businesses found their footing once again, and a renewed consumer spending spree began to fuel the economy. The labor market tightened, jobs were abundant, and minimum wage increases led to income growth across all income groups. From the wealthiest to the least fortunate, everyone seemed to be benefiting from this economic renaissance. It was a time of growth and prosperity, a period that harked back to the heady days of the dot-com boom of the late 90s and early 2000s. The American economy, it seemed, had found its stride again. By early 2020, the US economy's short-term performance was as healthy as it had been since the dot-com boom 2 decades earlier. Then came the pandemic, a global crisis that hit the American economy hard. As the virus spread, governments worldwide imposed lockdowns to protect public health. However, these measures had significant economic repercussions. With the implementation of stay-at-home orders, consumer spending, the lifeblood of the American economy, plummeted dramatically. Shops closed their doors, restaurants served only takeout, and tourism came to a standstill. The impact on businesses was swift and severe. Countless companies, especially small businesses, faced a stark choice: adapt or perish. Many, unfortunately, could not weather the storm. Layoffs became commonplace as businesses struggled to stay afloat, causing the unemployment rate to skyrocket above 10%. Meanwhile, economists heatedly debated the effectiveness of government stimulus measures. Could these interventions stave off a deeper economic crisis, or would they merely postpone the inevitable? As the year 2020 rolled on, the uncertainty was palpable. The unemployment rate soared above 10%, and fears of a vicious economic cycle loomed. The New Deal era saw policies that promoted strong unions, high taxes on the wealthy, public investments, and social safety nets. However, by the end of this period, voters turned against this consensus. Now the stage was set for a new era, one of free market fundamentalism. Enter Ronald Reagan. His administration, with its unshakable faith in the free market, turned the tide. Taxes were slashed, regulations were cut, and the government took a step back. The idea was that the market, if left to its own devices, would ensure prosperity for all. It was a belief in a rising tide that would, in theory, lift all boats. But the reality diverged from this ideal. Instead of a rising tide, we saw a surge of inequality. The wealth gap widened, the rich got richer, while the middle class and the poor saw their living standards stagnate. The promise of the American dream, that each generation would do better than the one before, began to fade. And the effects are still felt today. Our economy is marked by a level of inequality that rivals the Gilded Age. The middle class, once the backbone of the American economy, is shrinking, and the promise of upward mobility, it's now more myth than reality. Today, a child born in Norway or the United Kingdom has a better chance of out-earning their parents than one born in the US. The decline of the American dream is a multifaceted story. It's a tale woven from strands of different social and economic threads, each contributing to a tapestry of decline. The civil rights backlash, for instance, drove a wedge through the heart of unity, dividing communities along lines of race and class, and puncturing the balloon of economic progress. Then there's cultural elitism. The rise of a privileged class, detached from the realities of everyday Americans, created a chasm between the haves and the have-nots. This widened gap fueled resentment and further strained the fabric of society, leading to economic stagnation. Lastly, the impact of global crises, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, revealed the vulnerabilities within the American economy. It showed how reliant the nation was on global supply chains and how quickly things could tumble when these chains were disrupted. As we navigate uncertain times, understanding these dynamics is crucial for shaping a more equitable and resilient economy.